I say it ain't so. It looked like we got another update in this Meg Thee Stallion Tory Lanez shooting situation. We actually got senators coming out looking into the case saying that they can prove that Meg Thee Stallion is lying. That is wild. That is super wild. It looked like we got an update, and I'm here for it. It's your boy, What's Up G, back with another banger. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so y'all can find y'all way back. Let's get right into this. I ain't gonna even hold y'all. This is crazy.
Drama is heating up. And as the day goes by, it keeps looking worse for Megan Thee Stallion. In the last week and a half, Tory Lanez has received more momentum in overturning his case than he probably has had in the last year and a half since he's been convicted. And Megan Thee Stallion is panicking after the week that Tory Lanez have had. I'm not here to tell you who's guilty and who's innocent or to retry this case. I'm just here to break down what has taken place over the last week and a half. Megan took to her TikTok today to beg Tory Lanez to leave her alone. On TikTok, she would write, "At what point are y'all gonna stop making me have to relive being shot by Tory? At what point are Tory and y'all fans gonna stop lying? Like, how much is the check to keep harassing me? Why is this happening every day? 1 minute him/y'all said I was never shot. Now y'all letting him play in your face again and say I was shot, but it wasn't him. Oh, okay." This is Megan's direct response to Tory Lanez's team doing a press conference where they would reveal that Megan's best friend Kelsey, who was in a vehicle with Tory Lanez, who was having an argument with Megan Thee Stallion in the vehicle that night after learning that Megan Thee Stallion was sleeping with Tory Lanez behind her back, even though her and Tory Lanez were in a relationship. The bodyguard of that best friend would testify that Kelsey admitted to her husband that she was the one who shot Megan and it wasn't Tory.
No DNA, no fingerprints, missing bullet fragments. Despite those concerns, rapper Tory Lanez, whose legal name is Daystar Peterson, was convicted in connection to the 2020 shooting of fellow artist Megan Thee Stallion in the Hollywood Hills, which left her with injuries to her feet. Tory Lanez was sentenced to 10 years, a full decade behind bars. To this day, Mr. Peterson, Tory Lanez, maintains his innocence, insisting he never fired the gun. Now, new evidence and claims are surfacing, including from a witness whose account contradicts key parts of Megan Thee Stallion's version of events that night and appears to support Tory Lanez's defense.
Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was a witness to the conversation Ms. Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun.
The bodyguard's testimony as it stands to me is a non-factor, not because I don't think it's credible, but I don't think it sways the opinion of either side. If you don't believe that Megan Thee Stallion was shot by Tory Lanez, then this just reinforces it. If you believe Megan Thee Stallion was shot by Tory Lanez, this isn't going to sway your opinion, right? A bodyguard who used to drive for Kelsey saying he overheard Kelsey say this is not going to change your opinion of this. You already have your mind made up. However, I do believe the bodyguard's statement and testimony combined with the other aggravating factors, now it means something.
Right.
Now you guys may have enough to go back in front of a judge and present this for an appeal. Maybe have a sentence cut down, maybe have a sentence suspended to have him get out. The bodyguard statement was at least enough to have U.S. Congresswoman Anna Paulina think that Tory Lanez is innocent. It was able to sway her, and now...
Yeah, and Anna Paulina, U.S. Congresswoman, she on Megan Hills. You got a U.S. Congresswoman. So now I want to see if Roc Nation got enough pull to make something happen with her. I just want to see something, y'all.
He's an advocate for Tory Lanez. Now, this to me is the game changer, and this is why Megan Thee Stallion and Roc Nation is currently panicking. Because Tory Lanez and his attorneys putting out press conferences, talking to the media, they've been doing this for years, bro. All right, Roc Nation and Megan Thee Stallion ain't worried about Tory Lanez and his team breathing hot air for hours and having press conferences declaring his innocence. But they are concerned that an actual politician, a U.S. Congresswoman, is now taking interest in this case and is now advocating for Tory Lanez to get released. So we're going to discuss that later. So when we read the rest of Megan Thee Stallion's statement towards Tory Lanez, and you hear her panicking and you hear like the franticness within her statement, understand this is because a U.S. Congresswoman is now taking up the fight for Tory Lanez. I do think Megan Thee Stallion did make a good point, and if you're not biased, you can probably give Megan Thee Stallion some credit for making a good point. 1 minute y'all said, yo, I stepped on glass, I wasn't shot. Next minute, y'all claiming a bodyguard overheard Kelsey saying she shot me. Now I was shot, but Tory didn't do it and Kelsey did it. So at some point, I do believe, though, that the people who say Megan Thee Stallion was not shot by Tory Lanez, The mind has to be made up. It has to be either she stepped on glass, she was never shot, she lied, or Kelsey shot her. I'm not discrediting either theory. I'm just saying it can't be both. You can't present with both and pick whatever theory works best that day. You kind of have to commit to either or. Either she was shot or she stepped on glass. And if she stepped on glass, then the theory of the bodyguard coming forward and claiming that he overheard Kelsey saying he shot her, that theory would mean nothing because she was never shot, right? So Megan Thee Stallion, continued. She says, 1 minute y'all said I was never shot now y'all letting him play in your face again and say I was shot, but it wasn't him. Okay, I'm sick of this ish. Leave me the F alone. He ain't dare get on that stand and deny he shot me, and that was his choice because he knows he did that ish. I don't give a F about a blog or a bot. Why in the F would me, Megan Thee Stallion, have to lie on this MF about shooting me? See, she says that now, and she kind of says it in a condescending tone as if like she's bigger than Tory Lanez and she's bigger than life. And no, but at the time, Megan Thee Stallion was significantly less popular than Tory Lanez, significantly less clouded up, less accomplished than Tory Lanez. So don't say, bro, like, why would I need?
Yeah, she just sounds like a liar right there. And honestly, I'm inclined to believe that she's a liar because she lied to Gayle King about being with Tory Lanez. Remember when she said, were you and Tory Lanez having relations? She said, what? Stop lying. So we know that you're a liar. We don't know Tory Lanez as a liar. But we do know that Megan Thee Stallion is a liar. So I'm going to leave it up to y'all to really choose who's right and who's wrong. I'm going to just lay the facts out there. I'm not choosing. I'm just saying we know Megan Thee Stallion's a liar just from that Gayle King interview. We don't know Tory Lanez as a liar. Let's keep going, y'all.
To clout chase off Tory Lanez for it. At the time, it was plausible. She would continue and she would say, again, how y'all mad at the person that got shot? Facts are facts. He did it. It was proven in court. After hate campaign on the internet, Tory, you shot me. Ain't no new effing evidence. Y'all been saying the same ish for years. Tory, please leave me alone. She capitalized, please leave me alone. You a effing demon. I'm off this silly internet-ish. Bye. If you're a non-biased, you could also point at Megan Thee Stallion, even if you are a supporter of Megan Thee Stallion, and say her asking Tory Lanez to leave her alone is now hypocritical. Because if you guys remember, in December of 2024, when nobody was talking about this Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion situation, everybody had moved on. Nobody was really, there was no major updates, no new updates, no blogs really posting about it. Megan and Tory was not in the news headlines, and Megan brought them back in the news headlines because Megan Thee Stallion decided to file a restraining order against a man in Tory Lanez who was in jail at the time. Now, get this, okay? Megan Thee Stallion filed this restraining order the very same week she had a single dropping. So a lot of people was accusing Megan Thee Stallion of using this Tory Lanez situation to promote her single because Megan Thee Stallion also stated in the past before this that she was done speaking about it and done dealing with the situation. So filing a restraining order against a man who's in jail for 10 years was kind of crazy. It was kind of overkill as well. So you can't say leave me alone, but then on the other hand, you brought it back to the media. You brought it back to attention. You had your lawyer send in like the blog pages, and the restraining order to multiple blogs to post about it. So again, bro.
Hey, that part. Oh, don't keep going, Flacco. You had your lawyers send in the restraining order to multiple blog sites. You know what I'm saying? I be trying to tell y'all how the media works sometimes on this page. For them to post about it as your single came out. I'm going to just keep going, y'all. I'm going to just keep going.
You can't have it both ways, bro. Either you want to use the situation to promote singles or you don't. So U.S. Congresswoman Anna Paulina would take to Twitter to write that we have compelling evidence proving Tory Lanez's innocence and it will be released within the next 36 hours. Those who rush to call for his incarceration or worse yet push false evidence should prepare to be held accountable. This is scary coming from a congresswoman, bro. Coming from a politician is a different ball game, homie. When she not only says, hey, bro, we got compelling evidence that Tory Lanez is going to be free soon because this evidence should free him, but also the people responsible for pushing false evidence and putting Tory in jail should be ready to be held accountable. That's scary. I can see why Megan Thee Stallion is panicking, homie. Now, she would also call on Governor Newsom to review Tory Lanez's case and issue a pardon, and she tagged him directly on Twitter. She didn't stop there, bruh. She continued. Tory Lanez has filed a direct appeal, a habeas petition, and a successive habeas, all now consolidated by the California Court of Appeals. They have a seated panel. They have seated a panel. Oral arguments are coming. This case is far from over. Due process matters. Tory Lanez conviction and sentencing raised major constitutional concerns. First Amendment, Sixth Amendment, 14th Amendment. These issues demand urgent review. Oh, she riding for Tory Lanez, bro. I don't know if she's doing this on her own goodwill. Now, I do know that Republicans, I guess, have had some type of motivation or a particular interest in Tory Lanez's particular case because it's a means to go at Gascon. But nonetheless, though, this is still very good for Tory Lanez, and it's not good for Megan Thee Stallion, bro. If a politician, now mind you, she got allies too. So she's pulling resources with allies she knows. So once you about to start having 10, 15, 20 congresswomen and men standing together banning for Tory Lanez, come on, bro. Oh, come on, son. Yo, I don't know how Tory Lanez did this, bro. I don't know if the bag is talking. He threw a couple M's, bro, but this right here is brilliant by Tory Lanez. Megan Thee Stallion is panicking. I don't think not.
I would say most likely this congresswoman is probably running for a different seat, or she's planning to run for a different seat. And she's going to take this and then go to that next level. Like I wouldn't be surprised if this congresswoman, if we don't hear her in the news, accepting a greater position than where she's at. Let's keep going, y'all.
Only at the prospects of Tory Lanez being released. But I think Megan is panicking because Megan knows, man, once that congresswoman gets to digging, once the rocks get overturned, bro, they're going to see a lot of things that are going to get a lot of people in trouble. One thing in particular is this Tory Lanez being stabbed, is this mystery surrounding him being stabbed. I'm not saying Megan Thee Stallion is involved. I wasn't there. I don't even know why Tory Lanez was stabbed, allegedly, all right, or the real story. But Tory Lanez and his team think so. They alluded to it. Yeah. They said, you know, the conspiracy that Megan and them may be involved isn't just a conspiracy. They did everything to put the blame on Megan, but just outright say she did it. They led everybody to the water, but they ain't give us the water. They let us drink it ourselves. Here, Tory Lanez and his team break down the mystery surrounding Tory Lanez being stabbed.
Look, and I said this when he got stabbed. Hold on, let me plug my headphones up real quick for y'all. I be doing so many reactions, y'all. My headphones be dying. All right, we back in motion. Yeah. So you got to remember, it was known that the bodyguard was going to come out a week ago and say what he said, and then within that same week, out of nowhere, this man came and stabbed Tory Lanez 14 times. We thought the Mexicans did it. The Mexicans came out because the blacks and the Muslims was like, yo, we gonna tear the whole jail up and we tearing up the city. Why would y'all do that? This is our breadwinner. You know, he in there taking care of everybody, but he was taking care of the Mexicans too. So the Mexicans like, oh, we ain't do it. Not to say that the Mexicans was scared or anything, but they were just like, yo, we didn't do it. We wouldn't do it. He taking care of us too. The Mexican that stabbed him was a rogue Mexican. Yeah, he's a reject Mexican. He's somebody that got rejected from the gangs. I don't know what he did. Maybe he did something. Maybe he disavowed something or whatever he did. You get what I'm saying? Better yet, he was in jail for actually unaliving a young female who's 1'3". You know, we on YouTube. They had crazy. That was his girlfriend and he unalived her. So maybe the Mexicans wasn't messing with that. I wouldn't mess with that. You shouldn't mess with that, right? So he's a rogue Mexican in there. He's nobody's guy. He's nobody's guy. And he's the guy who just randomly went up to Tory Lanez and hit him up 14 times. Raggy? Let's keep going, y'all. I don't know what's going on.
And guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. The timing of these events raised disturbing questions to me, and I think they all should to you as well. After over 2 years in prison without incident, Tory was stabbed 14 times just days after a major national news outlet reached out to Megan Pete's team, Kelsey Harris, and former DA George Gascon about a story on new evidence in this case. You don't have to believe in conspiracies to see the pattern. When evidence was about to come to light, Tory was nearly killed. So let's stop pretending this is complicated. Let's stop treating this like some cultural war flashpoint. This is about a man a father, a son, Daystar Peterson, who has sat in a prison cell for over a year based on a case that wouldn't pass the smell test in any honest courtroom. The prison system can no longer guarantee his safety, and that alone should be grounds for immediate action. But combine that with the overwhelming evidence of a botched investigation, and this becomes not just a legal issue, but a morale emergency. Tory Lanez deserves a new trial. He deserves due process. He deserves a pardon. And
when they say Megan's team, they're talking about Rock Nation, more specifically Desiree Perez, because that's who worked with Megan Thee Stallion directly. Desiree Perez have some ties that really terrifies the industry, which is why she literally runs the industry. Desiree Perez has the power to call up companies and literally tell them, hey, bro, you paying this person $1 million for an endorsement deal, but give them $2 million. I don't want to hear no negotiation. Bye. And she's not even a part of the deal, bro. And these companies will do it. You know why they'll do it, bro? Because nobody wants to get on Desiree Perez's good side. Desiree Perez literally took down an entire cartel. Desiree Perez still have ties to cartels. Desiree Perez is bullying the industry. All right. So when we see situations like this where they say, this is interesting, all right, we told Megan Thee Stallion team, Desiree Perez and them, that Tory Lanez got new evidence coming out. And within a day of us telling them, he was stabbed. Like, what's going on here, bro? And he was stabbed by a Mexican that he has no issue with, never had a run-in with. This is strange. And I do believe that when a Congresswoman get involved and things start to get overturned, they're going to get to the bottom of this. They're going to find out if Megan's team was responsible for Tory Lanez being stabbed. This is crazy, yo. The turn of events is getting crazier, man. Let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think?
This is nasty work. Shout out to Poetic Flacco. A lot of people don't like Flacco, but y'all got to understand how courageous this was, him putting all this together. He just put it all together how I see it, how my mind's eye sees it. And a lot of people give Flacco a lot of flack. But he just put the puzzle together for y'all, and it's pretty clear as day to see. Yeah, Tory's team sees it, the Congresswoman sees it, I see it, and if you're just not taking a second to look at it, it means you don't want to see it. It means you don't want to put two and two together. It means Chris Brown speaking out saying free Tory, and then within hours he's arrested from something from 2 years ago. Like that means you just don't want to see it. All right. And these are some strong people. These are like some really big people. Honestly, I would think twice about speaking on a lot of this type stuff. You get what I'm saying? Just because my platform isn't that big and I ain't got the money to fight it. But it's nasty. Tory Lanez may be a completely free man. And not only that, being a free man, him getting hit up in the prison like that actually gives his plight more it gives his case more credence that he's actually supposed to be a free man and he didn't do nothing wrong. Because if it's just new evidence saying like, yeah, he didn't do it and he should be free, why would somebody send somebody to get him hit up? Like, what are you scared of? Like, ain't nothing wrong with somebody who didn't do it being free, right? Unless you got something to hide. Who got something to hide in this case? Y'all drop it in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. We done went down this rabbit hole, and down this rabbit hole, you dealing with people that specialize in unaliving people. So I just got to sit here and say, I got to give it up to Flacco for a second here, because there's other media personalities who have put two and two together, but they don't really want to speak on it. They scared. It is what it is. All right. So it's your boy, What's Up, G? If anybody told you they love y'all, I need y'all to disrespect that like button. I'm out, y'all.